Hello, Chris Walker, Big Angie Fan Channel, here in beautiful Hawaii. And just a quick vlog today about lip sync. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of lip sync that everybody does in studio videos, where, because of course, the sound was recorded earlier for the album, and they're going around the multiple locations, so of course they're lip syncing to a pre-recorded track. And I'm also not talking about the Milli Vanilli style of lip sync, where it's actually somebody else's voice that the singer is trying to match their lips to. I'm also not talking about the much more common type of kind of questionable lip syncing, where it is the singer's own voice, but it's a playback of their own voice, and they are they're lip syncing to that. And actually, there's some pretty famous examples of where people were raving about the wonderful singing, and it turned out that actually the singer was singing to a recorded track. For example, Whitney Houston has a famous version of the Star Spangled Banner at a ball game. There's actually definite proof that that was pre-recorded. She was singing into a dead mic pre-recorded track. Now, she did apparently record that track in one take, but the actual performance you're seeing, she's lip syncing. Then there was Beyonce did I think America the Beautiful at Obama's inauguration, and she also said later on that that was lip synced. But I'm not talking about that either. There isn't any evidence that Angelina Jordan has ever done that kind of lip syncing.
Stars fading, but I linger on dear, still craving on your kiss. I'm longing to linger till down here, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you, sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. And your dreams, whenever they'll be, dream a little dream of me.
Now, I'm talking about where it's not that they're trying to lip sync to a pre-recorded track, but that the video that you're seeing was shot at a different time from the audio. Well, again, of course that's fine in a production video, but it gets a little bit more problematic when the video is described as like live in studio, where it looks like it's all just one long take. And there are a few instances like that with Angelina Jordan, where I wish they had been a little more clarity about what was going on. Like, for example, Easy on Me, superb song. But when that came out, a lot of people were thinking that, it was like, came out as a live stream, and people were thinking, oh, she's singing this live right now. But what they meant by live in studio was that probably they meant that the whole audio track was recorded live, but previously, it had been previously recorded live. And then the shots that you see of her singing, perhaps some of those had been recorded at the same time, but then others were recorded at a different time. If you take a really close look at the transitions, you can see that at least some of the shots were not recorded live. Either that, or it was assembled from several takes, because the cuts don't match. The most famous example of that for me is with All I Ask, superb cover of Adele, but in that song there are some close-ups where her hair is in front of her shoulder in the close-up, and then it moves behind her shoulder in the farther away shot. So clearly, that's not recorded live. Those two scenes were shot at different times. And so, that is kind of a standard thing when you call something live in studio, but I think you should kind of clarify that it's recorded live. It was at the time that the sound was recorded, it was live, but then other things were added. Say something like that. And I guess the most problematic is it's only a couple, it's like 2 or 3 of her kind of home studio songs where it's one take. Actually, that's not live. They use video from a different time. The best example of that is the Etta James song, I'd Rather Go Blind. Superb song, but the video for that was not recorded at the same time as the audio. Okay, so that being said, that I wish there was some more clarity about that, you know, like I'd Rather Go Blind, I wish something had been said about how the video was recorded at a different time. My main point in talking about this lip sync is because actually Angelina Jordan has far more, one take and totally live recordings in terms of a percentage than any singer that I can think of. I actually studied this recently. Okay, Rusty Shackelford has his playlist. I think it's up to 167 songs now of different songs she's done. So what I did was first of all, I cut off, I didn't count any of the songs that were like fragments that were like less than a minute. So that left roughly 150 songs. And then in cases where there was more than one version of a song, for example, her studio album, It's Magic, there's live versions of most of those songs that I think are at least as good or better. Whenever there was more than one version, just picking one that was really popular and got a lot of views or was highly regarded. For example, Man's World from her launch concert for the album is considered one of her greatest performances. So I chose that as my example of Man's World. So looking at it that way, I looked at the percentage of the songs that we know for sure are continuously recorded in one take with no assembly of tracks. They're just all going from beginning to the end of the song. And the percentage is 80%. That's an amazingly high percentage. Now, a good third of her songs are not only one long continuous take, but we know for sure that it's the first take because it's either a live TV appearance or it's a concert appearance. 1/3 of her songs are, completely live, one take, the first take, all the way through. What other performer can you think that a full third of their songs are like that? Plus, with so many of those being, extremely well regarded. Bohemian Rhapsody, Man's World, like I said, many, many other songs. All of her Norway's Got Talent performances, her AGT performances. Okay, then if you look at the other songs that are for sure one long continuous take, that's like her, almost all of her rehearsals and home studio performances. And you can tell, there's only a few, like I said, Rather Go Blind, and maybe a couple others where there's some question about it being a live recording. But almost all of them are one take, and we know from Yvonne and Aguirre that even most of those are either the first or the second take. So think about that. She has 80% of her songs out there are one long continuous take, no assembly, no studio wizardry at all applied. And I don't think anybody else comes close to that percentage. And it's not like kind of like a basement tapes thing with Bob Dylan where, yes, you have all this live material, but only a small percentage of it is really good. No, this is some of her very best stuff is live. in live or, you know, first or second take. So that leaves only about 30 songs that are either pretty definitely, you know, more than one take, or have the possibility of being more than one take. That's, you know, songs like, of course, her the most obvious one that everybody would agree is more than one take is like Mercy, because that was a collection of her singing various, you know, overdubbing herself. And, you know, there's some other ones like that. But that's 20% of her songs, you know, could be assembled. And not all of those are assembled. And the other 80% with these superb vocals are one long continuous take. So say what you will about these few instances where you know, I wish they had been a little bit more transparent about the video actually not matching the audio. Just looking at the overall body of work, she has way more that is not lip synced at all than any other artist I can think of. And, you know, in addition, without having the studio wizardry applied to almost any of it. And yet, it's still that high quality. So, you talk about lip sync and Angelina Jordan, I say, fine, I'll give you her 20% lip synced, much less than anybody else. And let's just, even if you just stick with the stuff that we know for sure is one long continuous take, there's so much brilliant material of that. All right, this has been Chris Walker with Big Angie Fan Channel here in beautiful Hawaii. Aloha.
Out of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them. Take my arms, I'll never use them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on, dear, without you? You took the path that once was my heart, so